Hey there, gang. Patrick King here, coming to you live from Asheville, Ohio. So tonight is going to be a little bit more of a discussion rather than a question. So we're changing up the kind of question and answer of the day for us for today. So one of the things that I want to discuss a little bit is something that I've been talking about a lot at clinics recently, and that's the rider's philosophy about the aids. When we use our aids, now it's important to understand there's a difference between aids and cues, okay? Cues, I liken that to the blue button gets this response. The yellow button gets that response. The purple lever, if we pull it, it gets this response. That's kind of a cue there. And there's nothing wrong with cues. But when we talk about the rider's aids, we're talking about so if we're thinking about the primary aids, or the natural aids, we sometimes call them, we're thinking about the seat, the leg, the hand, the reins, that sort of thing. So those are less fixed, like a cue would be. So a cue might be you blow your horse a kiss, and that means canter, right? The rider's aids, on the other hand, can be used in any number of ways to communicate to the horse any number of actions or activities or changes in the body that we would like him to make. So when I think about the rider's aids, I try to think about how that translates to the horse. And a lot of riders, when they apply the aids, they're thinking about making the horse do this or getting the horse to do this other thing. So we might say, for instance, squeeze with our leg or push with a leg to make a horse leg yield, or to ask a horse up into the canter, right? And we might see a rider kind of using their legs and getting, in their mind, the canter is what has to happen if they're using the aids for the canter in this little analogy. Now, what I like to think about, and something that I've been talking about a lot lately with riders in our clinics, is changing that philosophy altogether. And when we apply our aids, in whatever sequence we apply them, however we use them, as far as the seat, the leg, and the rein aids or the hand aids, we think about rephrasing the question to our horse. Not, I want you to do this, but phrasing the question in a way that says, what do these aids mean to you in this moment? That's how I want to think about using my aids. Presenting the question to the horse. What do these aids mean to you in this moment? If we present it that way to our horse, an interesting thing happens. The horse's answer is never wrong. If we think about applying a cue, say we blow a kiss to our horse and we put our left leg 6 inches back, and that's supposed to mean canter. There's one response to that cue, right? And that's the canter. When we phrase the question differently, when we ask our horse, based on our series of aids, based on the coordination of our aids, when we say, what do these aids mean to you in this moment? There is no wrong answer from the horse. Now we can hang in there if the answer, if what it means to our horse in that moment is not what we want it to mean, right? We can add something more. Say I touch my horse with a little bit of leg, I've got my seat positioned, I've got my reins positioned, my body in such a way, maybe I'm asking for a transition from walk to trot. I present my aids to the horse in the way that says, what does this mean to you in this moment? And the horse doesn't give me the answer of transitioning from walk to trot. I can use the whip as an aid to help him, but I wouldn't necessarily change the aids that I added. So that gets us into the conversation of kind of the leg aids. I talk about the leg aids being on a scale from 0 to 10. 0 being you didn't touch your horse with the leg. 10 being you gave the horse every bit of leg that you had. I try, for a horse that I'm riding, I want to only use my leg at a 1. The leg aid of 1 is different than a leg aid of 3, and that's different than a leg aid of 7, and that's different than a leg aid of 10. So if I ask my horse with a leg aid of 1, and I don't get the right answer, I'm not going to change that leg aid to a 3. I'm going to help the horse understand with maybe a little bit of help from the whip or something like that. And I'm not talking really getting after him. I'm talking, whatever we need to help the horse in that moment understand the aids so that we have what I call ridiculous consistency with our aids. So that if we ask the horse with a series of aids that's coordinated in whatever fashion, that's the fashion that we ask the horse always for that particular change. And we're always, again, asking the horse, what do these aids mean to you in this moment? And again, maybe the horse gives us an answer that's different than what we want the aids to mean. But to that horse, it's what those aids mean in that moment. So again, his answer is never wrong. We can help him to learn something different. We can help the aids to mean something more. But his answer is always right when we think about phrasing it that way. So maybe a little bit of a philosophical shift for the rider to think about presenting themselves that way. And it's something that I've found I have considerable success with the horse when I present myself that way, when I phrase my question that way. What do these aids mean to you in this moment? So that's something to think about the next time that you're working with your horse, the next time you're riding your horse, or even when you're working on the ground. What do those aids mean to your horse in that moment? It might be something interesting to experiment with. You might find some neat coming from your horse if you phrase your question a little bit differently. Okay, so I hope that that's something that gives you some insight, something to think about. If you found it insightful, if you found it helpful in any way, please share this video with some of your friends. Share it to your personal page, share it to groups, whatever you want to do. That'll be fantastic. The more video shares we get, the more we kind of, increase, I think we increase the horsemanship level around the world as we share these videos, share these insights, and we get people talking, we get people thinking. So again, share these if you please. Comment, like, all that great stuff. Question for you for the day. Let's see. I don't know. I did quite a bit of riding today out in a big open field. And that's one of my favorite places to ride. Where's your favorite place to ride? Is it in an arena with a fence, an enclosure, kind of a visual barrier? Is it in an indoor, outdoor, out in the open, out on the trails? Where's your favorite place to ride your horses? I'd love to hear your answers. Please share your answers in the comments below this video. Don't forget, gang, you keep asking questions, I'll keep giving answers. Thanks so much.